Taekwondo, Master Randy Edwards here. Doing a video today on Chon-Ji. Congratulations, you've gotten through 4-direction punch. You're at 9th up now, and we are doing this video. I'm doing this video today as drill work, as things to practice before you actually learn the form. All right, so this is a video where you get up and move, where you move with me. All right, so clear out some space, make sure you got some room to practice so we can get the technical side of the techniques in Chon-Ji, and then we'll put it together in a sequence in another video. All right, so we have a new stance in Chon-Ji. All right, we have an L stance. You may have done L stance in class, and some drill work in class, but we've never had a 4-direction punch doesn't have an L stance in it. It's all walking stance. All right, so you notice as I step out with one of my legs and make an L stance, how my weight is centered over this back leg. My feet are in an L position. So as I bring my feet back under me again and I move out the other side, again, my feet in the L and weight backwards over the back leg. Should have enough room to put my shoulders between the heels. We say there's a shoulder length in this stance. So as I step out, notice how I'm coming to neutral with one leg, and then I'm going to keep the weight over this back leg. In other words, you don't see me stepping out in this, body weight going this direction. As I'm at what we say neutral or balanced position, I just drop down over the back leg. Again, together, drop down over the back leg. Again, together, and drop down over the back leg. We should be able to, when we get into this L stance, easily pick up the front leg with very little upper body movement. If the stance is too long or if you got some weight on that leg, you have to lean back in order to pick the leg up. So a good check of the L stance is, can you pick up your front leg with just a little bit of upper body movement? All right, so there's your L stance. Now we want to take that L stance and we want to step forward into a walking stance. So, I use these lines in the mats. I think this would be perfect. I line my heels up to go from my L stance into the walking stance. I'll come out shoulder wide. Maybe better if I use this side. All right. So notice how my heels are lined up on the gray and black line, and as I step forward, I'm stepping forward shoulder wide into the walking stance. So we are one leg in front in an L stance. It could be your left leg, it could be your right leg, doesn't matter at this point. We're in an L stance and we're moving forward. All right. Now from there, we can just shift that leg over into an L stance and then step forward into the walking stance. But the big thing here, team, is this. Heels are lined up one in front of the other. It's a very short stance. I don't need a wide base. But as we step forward into this longer stance, into the walking stance, I need to be shoulder wide. All right. So from here, I'm in my walking stance. I just want to move this leg back and over into an L stance, and then practice stepping forward into a walking stance. All right, so I'm now left side forward in my L stance, and notice how my heels are lined up. As I step forward, I step down shoulder wide into this walking stance. Again, go back, shoulder length in the L stance, most of the weight centered back over the back leg, and then stepping forward, shoulder wide into the walking stance. Again, as I told you in your orientation lesson, your very first lesson, biggest thing I correct out of beginners is the walking stance is not wide enough. I tend to step out in these stances that are more walking width, but walking stance width has got to be shoulder wide. So an excellent drill to help you with Chon-Ji. Again, start with your heels lined up in the L stance, step forward into the walking stance. All right, so next drill is going to be going from a right side forward walking stance, spinning 180 degrees to the right into a right side forward walking stance. This movement is going to be done in 2 moves. I'm going to spin around to neutral and then step out into the stance. So from the right side forward walking stance, right leg in front, I'm going to take that right leg, and my goal is to spin around and come out shoulder wide facing this direction. All right, so my right leg is in front, and I spin around, shoulder wide. Now, to get there, what I just demonstrated 2 times was how not to do it. We don't want to spin all the way around and land. We want to spin around to this position, where one foot is under the body and the direction that I'm going. So my goal is to spin around this direction. All right, so when I pick my right leg up and spin around, I spin around to what's called neutral. And this is where the leg is dangling just off the floor. Support leg is bent for balance, all right? And it would be okay if this leg is lightly touching the ground here also. And now the right leg that's spun around into neutral, now that right leg will come out wide into the walking stance, facing this direction. So again, we're going from a right side forward walking stance to the right walking stance. Right leg goes to neutral, and then the right leg steps out into the walking stance. Again, wide, and make sure that you brought the back foot with you. All right, don't let that back foot point that direction. We got to turn that thing around facing this direction. Again, another beautiful thing about going to neutral is it'll help you get that back foot turned around. So, right foot is in front to neutral, and then right foot steps out shoulder wide. Now, we can just keep turning to the right. Right leg is in front, so you'll take that right leg around to neutral, and then shoulder wide. Right leg to your right to neutral, support leg bent, and then turn into the walking stance. Make sure all 10 toes have turned also, right? All right, right leg all the way around to here, and as I step out shoulder wide, that back foot has got to turn around to point that direction. What's going to essentially happen from this position is, as we step out and make a technique, we want to be able to use the hip. So that neutral position is a really strong position to gather the body weight and be able to explode into the next move, all right? So again, neutral is important. Getting all 10 toes turned around, very important. Shoulder wide is important. Doing the movement in 2 moves is very important. So again, right side forward walking stance, neutral, and then out into the right side forward walking stance. Make sure the back foot is turned. Again, my right leg is in front. Continue to turn to the right, neutral, and out. All right, now we need to practice the right side forward walking stance and turning all the way around again, but landing in the L stance. All right, so it's going to look like this. The right side forward walking stance. I'm going to take that right foot again all the way around to neutral, and from here I'm just going to step out a little bit into an L stance. All right. And the right leg is in front in the L stance, technically called a left L stance, but the right side is forward now. All right, so again, I am right side forward in the walking stance. The right leg turns all the way around to the right from neutral, step out into that L stance. And if you notice at neutral, your back foot is probably where it should be. All right, watch it, make sure it's not still pointed this direction. Again, we want to complete the L in the L stance as we spin around. All right, so from here I can just make my walking stance face this direction and then turn 180 degrees to the right. So I'll come around to the right at neutral and make the L stance. All right, then I want to go into my walking stance so I can practice again. Right side, 180 degrees around to neutral, and right foot comes out into the L stance. All right, so we'll shift into the walking stance again, get 2 more reps. Right leg goes 180 degrees to the right, neutral, and step out in the L stance. Good, now take that right side forward into the walking stance one more time. Right leg, 180 degrees to the right, neutral, and step out into the L stance. All right, very good. Now we want to practice the left side forward walking stance and practice some turns to the left. In Chon-Ji, when the left leg is in front and we're turning, we only turn 90 degrees, where before, as we're practicing the right side forward walking stance, the right walking stance, we were turning 180 degrees. So from here, we'll see that face the same direction you guys are. I'm left side forward with my walking stance, and now I'm going to go left foot to neutral, and I'm turning to the left. All right, left foot to neutral, and then the left foot is going to step out, and now we're left side forward walking stance facing this direction. Now we can just keep doing these 90-degree turns to the left. All right, so the left foot goes to neutral, and then as I step out with this left leg into a walking stance, again, shoulder wide, turn that back foot around to point the direction you're going. All right, so at neutral, I'm coming out wide and turning that back foot around to make sure I'm shoulder wide. Again, left foot to neutral, and then step out wide into the walking stance. Keep in mind, biggest thing I correct out of beginners is this. They'll come to neutral and want to step out more one foot in front of the other. Wide, all 10 toes forward. Have you heard me say that before? Once or twice on this video? All right, so let's go around one more time. So we're left side forward in the walking stance. And I'm gonna go neutral with the left foot, left side forward walking stance. Again, neutral with the left foot steps out shoulder wide in the walking stance. Left foot to neutral, left foot steps out shoulder wide in the walking stance. One more time, left foot to neutral, left foot steps out into the walking stance. All right, so I got one more little stance thing for you, all right? There are times in Chon-Ji when you make this left turn, 90-degree turn, and instead of going from a left walking stance to a left walking stance, you're gonna go from a left walking stance to a left side forward L stance, which is a right L stance. All right, so if I am left side forward in my walking stance, shoulder wide, 10 toes pointed at the target, I want to practice going to neutral and then into the L stance. All right, now from here, I can't just turn. I have to start in an L stance, so I want you to shift your body into a walking stance, shoulder wide, all 10 toes pointed this way, and go left foot to neutral, left foot into an L stance. All right, and again, we can't just move from here. I need to start in a walking stance first. So we'll go left side forward in the walking stance, left foot back to neutral, turn to your left, and we got the L stance. Make sure this back foot is not back here. Make sure the L is there. All right, one more time. All right, so for left side forward in the walking stance, shoulder wide, 10 toes pointed straight forward. Left foot is gonna come back to neutral. Left foot is gonna turn, and we're in the L stance. Again, just notice as I come to neutral and I turn, my body weight is not shifting that direction. My body weight is dropping straight down, most of that weight centered over the back leg. All right, so the techniques now that we want to add to the stances. We have a middle block with the inner forearm, and we have a low block with the outer forearm. The inner forearm, when the arms are down, is this inside, and the outer forearm would be the other side, or the outer forearm. All right, so if I'm doing an inner forearm block, I am blocking with this bone right here, so it would look like this. All right, it is a middle block with inner forearm, meaning middle section. The knuckles should not be over shoulder level, or should be right at shoulder level. Okay, on this particular block, the load for the technique is hands are pulled in at what's called neutral here also, balanced position with the hands, right? All right, from here, if I'm gonna block with my right hand, I'm gonna take that right hand and I'm gonna put it out in front of the left hand, and I'm gonna turn all of my fingers facing away from my body like this. Now from here, I'm gonna draw, you can see where this X is right here in front of me, and my hands are not over shoulder level. I'm gonna draw this X back in front of this shoulder, the opposite shoulder, that I'm going to be blocking to. Reaction hand on the floating ribs, action hand, knuckles not any higher than the shoulder, right at shoulder level, 120, 130 degree angle. All right, so the load for this block is, hands start here, this is position 1, position 2, they come back, but notice how if I'm blocking with this hand, that hand is going to be in front of the other hand, fingers are facing out. All right, draw that back in front of the shoulder and make the middle block. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And notice how I'm not over shoulder level, I'm not coming up with this, staying at shoulder level and pulling. And again, finger knuckles at shoulder level here also. All right, so we do want to practice this block in an L stance. So if we go ahead and make the L stance and do the 1, 2, 3, all right, right leg is in front of the L stance, the right hand is doing the block, that hand has to be out here away from the body like this, farthest away from the body. But it's not starting here, it's starting here. This is our relaxed position. This is where the body is lowered. And then you come up as you draw the hand back into the second position. Third position, we make the block. So it's 1, body lowering, 2, body comes up, 3, pull, shoulder level for the middle block. 1, 2, 3. Again, make sure this chamber, Hands are facing out. Blocking hand is one that's farthest away from the body. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, so far the way we've drilled this, I've had you drill this the incorrect way. You never hold 2. 1, yes, you can come back, hands can remain here, all right, as we're moving. But when it's time to do the block, as you go back into the second position, as soon as those wrists touch, as soon as those arms cross and make contact, it is go time. I'm gonna pretend like you've just touched an electric fence, right? As soon as those arms touch, block goes, all right? So as we go into this, we wanna think 1, 2, 3. I don't want you to think 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. So I do want you to get back to here before you make the block. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the same thing on the other side. Have the L stance here with the left arm out. Right arm all the way back on the side. One shoulder length. Again, now this blocking hand farthest away from the body. Fingers facing away. Second position is in front of this back shoulder, and then the block comes out shoulder level, same as the other side. So we want to get the drill with this left arm, the blocking arm, farthest away. There'll be a tendency to do this because that's what you did on the other side, but make sure this blocking arm is the one that's farthest away. So we practice 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Lower. Come up with the body because you come into the second position, and 3, we're back down. 1, 2, 3. So there's the middle block, all right? Now, we do have a middle punch with the 4-fist in Chon-Ji. I think we've done plenty of those, so I don't think we need to do a lot of drill on that, all right? So as we go into the next video, we'll start putting the sequencing together and get Chon-Ji at level 10. All right, you guys have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Taekwondo.